I'm cinematic, the next level, next level, next level, next level.
Hey YGO community, welcome back to our channel, Next Level Duelist. I'm Josh aka Die Guy, and we're here with slimxteamsymmetry. So we're going to do a little deck profile on his battle pack, on what he pulled and what he played.
So I actually really enjoyed this event. I didn't think I would when I came here. I was like, well, I'm kind of here for the map, but I mean, you get to play old cards, so it's kind of like reliving like the good old days, and just reliving a lot of cards that you probably wouldn't use. So I really enjoyed that, and I pulled. There were only 3 levels you could actually pull. Like honestly, there were 3 levels. You either pull broken, playable, or shit. And pretty much everyone, the majority played pulled playable, and there were a couple that pulled like the brokes that pulled.
Most people pull shit.
Yeah, no. There were people that pulled broke. There were people that pulled like the entire Monarch deck, and it was like, you know, 1 or 2 Treeborns, double Gores.
I've seen people pull 3 Gores and 3 Trags, and I've seen it on their sheets. So I'm sitting next to them. I took pictures of it.
Must be nice.
That must be nice. And they made it too. They made day 2 because of that.
Well, of course, yeah. I would think
if
so
they didn't,
too.
I would have called shenanigans.
Yeah, but I mean, I actually liked my deck. At first sight, I was like, I don't think this is that good. But then I noticed a lot of the cards, since a lot of it was 1-for-1 removal, a lot of it was just like baiting out like the back row. You knew that like you're not going to run into like Warning, you're not going to run into Starlight Road, you're not going to run into all these cards that kind of just like that are a total blowout in the game. So it made it a lot more fair. And then there were just things that like some cards that you think in here that are just amazing were not that great, and there were cards that you wished you pulled. But I mean, it was overall just a really good event. But I ended up going, I got 18 points, which pissed me off. I lost in time the last round. So I lost by only 400 life points, but there was nothing I could have done. So I would have made day 2 had we drawn or had I won. So I mean, but it was still a good experience. But I'll show you guys the deck. So I was fortunate enough, I did pull the Gores. I actually only dropped this in 9 rounds. I dropped this, I want to say 4 times. One of the times was completely irrelevant because he just ended up snatch stealing it. I was like, yeah, that sucks. But this card obviously is really good in the format. This is one of my favorite cards. Like, these were the beaters. These were the 3 beaters. People don't know this is called Ambitious Gopher or something like that. So what this card does is it's 2400, and once per turn you're able to target up to 2 monsters and you can destroy them. Your opponent is able to reveal a monster in their hand to negate the effect. It doesn't negate and destroy, it just negates the effect. So basically you have this on the field, they have monsters, you just like activate effect. They have to show you a monster in their hand in order to negate it. What I liked about it was that it gave me knowledge to my opponent's hand if they revealed for it, and there were times where they would have to use their resources or they would lose, so that you could actually resolve this effect. So it was really good. This card was really, really good. And Hades is broken because there were so many flip effects. As long as you got this on when there was like not that much back row, you were in good shape. So these are like the 3 beaters. They were really good. I was fortunate. I got a tour guide and I got 2 targets. The first one, Dark Resignator, you have to kill him twice by battle. I would usually tour guide for this guy though. This was a card that like, I looked at it at first, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a tour guide card. What is it? Gravactic or Orb. So it's a flip effect. You change the battle positions of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. I resolved this effect actually twice. When I didn't draw the tour guide, I actually just drew this. But this was usually, I would go tour guide for this and then make a Leviathan, so it was really good. And people always had to read this, they're like, that's a tour guide target? I'm like, yeah, it is. So it was cool. I was happy I had targets. I know a lot of people unfortunately pulled tour guide without targets, so I was lucky. For monster destruction, I had 1 Snowman, 1 Old Vindictive. They're good. They got shield crushed a lot though, and it was very sad. But when they resolved, I resolved this a lot, like a lot more than I thought I would. I had an opponent that summoned an 1800 and knocked into this and lost his monster, and it was crazy. And I attributed for this guy, and it was good. Like, it was just really good. So that was monster destruction. I main decked this. I won my first round because of this card. My opponent knocked into this monster. He had an 1800 attack point monster. He attacked into this. He was at 15, and I was like, okay. I was like, at my turn, and then it blew him up. It was kind of a cheap way to win, but it's pretty good. And then for the rest of like my beaters, Beast King. Really good, obviously. I have call too, so I called this in 9 rounds. I called this probably about 7 times, and it was at 3,000, and it was really good. Card Guard's an amazing card. Gets a counter. It comes 19. It can't save itself. We all thought it could. It can't save itself, but 1900 is just really good. 1900 beaters are really good if you don't pull Gene Warped. 1900 beater, 1900 beater. This gains 300 since it's a plant. I don't know why I main decked this. I main decked it, I think it was only because it was a 1900 beater. It can't attack like when it's summoned, and it does have that Reaper effect. I never resolved the Reaper effect, but it was in there because it was 19 and it was a 4. in case I wanted to make a rank 4, so those are other ones. Hands down the best 1900 is this card, Yukasha. It's a spirit monster. When you summon it, you're able to target spell or trap, and you're able to bounce it to your opponent's hand. This card won me so many games, it was stupid, because you could bounce Fiendish Change, you could bounce just cards, and if your opponent had no response, you pretty much felt free to attack, and I did that so many times where I just bounced their back row, bounced their back row, bounced their back row, and just like attacked with this, attacked with my other monsters, and this card was definitely like the MVP of the deck, I think, honestly. Even though the monsters are really good, this card single-handedly was amazing. For other, like, their lower-end beaters, but Chiron the Mage, this thing's kind of cool. Its effect really never kicked in. It was like, if it was, I think it was destroyed by something that doesn't target. By effect that doesn't target, it's not destroyed, but I mean, it was in there just because it was 4 and it was 17. 17's not terrible. Zolga, kind of the same thing as a 1700, but if you tribute this for a tribute monster, you gain 2000. I resolved it once on Hades, so that was pretty cool. I gained 2000 and had a big beater. And then I made deck this because this card and attack modifiers is amazing because they can't activate Mirror Force, they can't activate anything, so it was really good. So I really like this card.
Are these the Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
Yes.
I don't know about them. I just heard someone talk about them.
Yes. So that's it for my monster count. I think my monster count's like, it's like 20 something? Okay. Alright, on to my spells. People gave me a lot of shit for this just because they were like, how did you pull so well? But I did get 2 Graceful Charities. But here's the thing, is that in this format, they're not as good as everyone thinks. I was talking to Simon and he told me that it's cool you pulled 2 charities, but you shouldn't have main decked both of them, because if you looked at my monster lineup, I had nothing that I really wanted to discard to the graveyard that would give me synergy. Like, I don't have a Treeborn Frog, I don't have a Shield Warrior, I don't have any of those cards that you want to discard to the graveyard that have graveyard effects. So this card helped because it helped me get to stuff, obviously, and usually I would discard the lower ends. Like, I would discard these, or I would discard this. I actually would hold this because I knew that there would be situations where I could summon this and it would be like devastating because they can't activate their traps. So when I declare an attack, so that was good. Best spell card in my deck. I won in time twice because of this. I just wish I could have done it again in time the last round, but I didn't draw it. But I was smart and I held on to this because because the games took quite a long time because it was kind of like grind games most of the time. But this card was just stupid because in time, when you have only 5 turns, I activated it on turn 3, and well, yeah, they don't have the space, they don't have the heavy, the duster. I mean, you have the game right there. I have 1 space. It's just good, like, it's 1-for-1 removal. There was one situation where you're not supposed to set this, like, really, you're not supposed to since you only have 1, but I did set it against 1 deck, and he ended up spacing me, and I spaced his other back row, so it was good. And then my favorite spells were my attack modifiers. Action, Despair, and Big Bang Shot. I won so many games because of these, because trample and big, that's like it. Like, I Action, Despair everything in this deck. My favorite combo is having this because this is ridiculous. They can't like Mirror Force it or anything. Like, it's so good. So I really like this card. These were really good. Attack modifiers are really big in this format because being able to get over monsters is important. 1 Tribute to the Doom, really good, obviously. Getting rid of a problem monster, a set monster, especially since I don't have Shield Crush, was really good. And getting rid of Gores was good. Dark World Shackles. This card is a card that people put in their side decks, and I decided to main deck it because this card is stupid good. What it says is an equipped, and it says the equipped monster cannot attack, and its attack and defense becomes 100, and then during the standby phase it inflict 500 to the controller of the equipped monster. The 500 is kind of cool because you can burn them, but the main thing was that I ran into a big shield Gardna and I shackled it, so it had 100 defense, and I got over it. Because you guys can see, none of my monsters can get over it, except Gores if I was fortunate enough to drop Gores, so I really could not get around it without an attack modifier, so this card was really good. That's it for my spells. And then my traps, I did pull the Judgment, thank God. Oh my God, like, I had to Judgment so many stupid things. I had to Judgment a Ryza. Ryza is broken. Ryza is, oh God, if you get Ryza, like, I think you lose. Because flipping a card back to the top of the deck is ridiculous. Call the Haunted, like I told you guys, I resolved it a lot with Barbaros. I resolved it a lot with, what was it? With the Gopher. Because that card's really good, so it was good. It saved me a lot of times too, because the opponent would attack, I'd flip this, get Barbaros, and it was like, yeah, you can't get over it. Nightmare Wheel, I won games with this card. This card, everyone ran this card. This card is so good because you can burn them, they can't attack, and really if they can't get rid of it, and even if they tribute the monster, it leaves, so this card was good. A Prideful Roar, broken. Resolved it every game I played, like literally all 9 rounds, I drew this card and I resolved it every single time. It never got spaced or anything. I always resolved it. It was really good. And then the last card is Changing Destiny. They actually changed the ruling on this. Beforehand, we thought there was no way you could lose because it would change the monster to defense. It couldn't change the position. And then it says, then your opponent would choose one of the effects. It said you would gain life points equal to half the target, or your opponent takes damage. So everyone was under the understanding that the opponent would get burned or I would gain life, but they ended up changing it because apparently it reads the other way. So they changed it, and I would always side this out because I hated having it in the main deck. But that's it for the main deck. My extra deck, I only summoned 2 cards. I only summoned Leviathan and Gemini Pearl because they're good. Gemini Pearl is amazing because it's huge. These 2 I never summoned. They were, I don't know. I wanted to actually summon this because this and Shackles is really good, but the situation was like, it didn't matter. It wouldn't have made a difference. Like, this was bigger, so it was better. And then my side deck, just the stuff I didn't really side it in. Everyone told me I should have used this. I never had a situation where I needed it. And these just other cards that I just never used. I never really used any of these. I never really sided in any of these. A lot of these are just kind of like, they're unplayable. I almost wanted to side this in, and then this was terrible. And I sided in this though. I did side this in. So Miracle's Wake, monsters destroyed by battle. The turn you can special summon it. So I did it with Barbaros again. I tried to do everything with Barbaros because it's 3,000. Like, you can't get past it. So this card was good. This is only one of the few cards I sided in. And this card had a lot of potential, but I just didn't like it. I sided in once and I hated it. It didn't do anything. So yeah. So that's it for the for the deck profile. It was a really fun format though. I actually really liked it. Like, I didn't think I would. I thought it was gonna be total shit, but it was really fun. And I was happy with my pulls. Like, I pulled playable, a little above average playable, so I think it was good. I just wish I could have made day 2, but you know, time is a bitch. I won in time against opponents and I lost in time, so you know, it happens. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. If there's ever another battle pack, I'll definitely enter it because it was great. I think it's good too. It's good practice. It makes you think like outside the box. It makes you really think, and you have to read a lot of cards. You really have to think about strategy compared to the way the format is right now, where you see a card, you already know what it does. It's like your entire concept of the game completely changes. So I really liked it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I think this mat is totally badass. This mat is totally badass. The box is cool. It's just kind of flimsy. Like, it is really flimsy, but it was cool to get the stuff. So, you know, but yeah. So thank you guys for the profile, and hope you guys sub to these guys. And yeah, thanks for watching.